That's good.
What's happening, Sip and Chill family? It is your guy, Coach Reg, back for another edition of Sip and Chill with Coach Reg. And I'm excited to have you here with me. Be you in our private Facebook lounge or our YouTube lounge, excited you chose to join us on Friday. Take some time out of your day, right, to hang out with us for a bit for Sip and Chill. You may or may not have your beverage. I do, because the weather is so cool here. It made sense to have a red today. So yeah, just thought I would do that. So whatever your beverage of choice is, it is. It does not have to be alcoholic. It can be whatsoever you choose, if you choose at all, quite frankly. So yeah, back for another edition. So just to give some context, throughout the week, or let me tell you who I am first. I probably should start there, because there's some people who are new to me and I'm new to you. So here I am. It's me, Coach Reg, professional relationship coach, founder of Are You Coached, which is a relationship coaching platform geared toward helping individuals identify, participate, strengthen, and sustain healthy relationships. Our clients are high-achieving professional men and women who, quite frankly, desire quality relationships that honor and support their core values. Our clients are single and committed relationships, and those who are even divorced. So if you're someone who desires quality relationships, absolutely consider connecting with us at bit.ly connect to RU, and you can see all of our links there, and I'll share that with you in a moment. But be sure to say hello when you get here, because I can see your comments and look forward to connecting with you as we go through the content. And just a bit more, I wanted to share with you, for those who don't know, so we have a private Facebook group, Sip and Chill with Coach Reg. And so throughout the week, I post questions in that group and people respond, and I'll share some of those responses with you in a bit. And if you choose to, you can absolutely join the group, become a part of the group, I should say, if you're on Facebook. And if you're not, that's fine. You can totally comment in YouTube. But the point of it all is, if you are there and you want to see the full slate of comments or responses, you can totally do that. And that's available. So the past several weeks, we've been dealing with and talking about topics that deal with emotional intelligence. We began, I dare not call it a series. It's just a combination of topics that, or a succession or progression of topics that are in and around emotional intelligence, or EQ. And so EQ focuses more around emotional intelligence, and much like IQ, intelligence quotient, there's an emotional quotient as well. And so we began with emotional intelligence in love and relationships. And from there, we moved to improving emotional intelligence. And we dealt with a few more topics that were around the components, the 4 components of emotional intelligence. And they are self-management, self-awareness, relationship management, and social awareness. And so our topic today, what do I do when my relationship is in trouble, is around the EQ component, relationship management. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to chat about that for a bit. Again, if you have comments, questions, please be sure to type them. If you are in Facebook and choose to accept the permissions from StreamYard, I'll be able to see your name. Otherwise, I'll just see Facebook user. But please be sure to say hello when you get here. And yeah, be great. And for those of you who see this at another time, not live or on replay, if you're on Facebook, excited you're here as well. So thanks for hanging out with us. And if you have questions, you can totally reach to us. In fact, let me share with you how you can connect with us if you want to learn more. If you want to learn more about us, again, here at that link you're looking at, all the links on that card are live, right? And the phone number there, please text me if you have questions. We can start our conversation that way. The point of it all is that's how you connect with RU if you'd like to learn more about who we are and what we do. Okay. So let's talk about some of the comments. What do I do when my relationship is in trouble? So again, I asked a few questions this week, and one of those questions was, what steps do you take to resolve or manage conflict in your relationship currently or in the past? Someone said, have a real conversation with yourself as to why this is an issue for you. Ask yourself, is this a non-negotiable? If so, you need to have an adult conversation with your significant other and communicate your feelings to them. If this is met with ridicule, disrespect, or disregard, see that as a sign. If they don't respect your thoughts and feelings now, they definitely won't later. Someone else said it starts with a good conversation at a mutually agreeable time where both parties listen and understand and not listen to speak. The end goal should be a better understanding and resolution, not winning or losing a battle. Very cool. Another question I was asked, what adjustments do you make in real time when you recognize you've been triggered? Yeah. So let me share this with you also. There are tenets. There are tenets of are you, right? Are you focused? Are you purposeful? Are you evolving? And if not, it begs the question, are you coached? Because in relationships, we want to be intentional. We want to be present. We want to be focused. We want to be purposeful, and we want to evolve, right? We want to be better than we started. Now, again, for those of you who are, new to me, I'm huge on people winning so they can go be great in their lives, their loves, and relationships. It's just something that's necessary. I think, and I say this often, and you'll likely continue to hear me say it, quite frankly, and that is, I believe that so many people want better outcomes, they simply don't know how. And that's why coaching could possibly serve you in your life, your loves, and relationships, particularly if your person and your relationship matter to you. Now, I fully understand that you cannot do it alone, so we're not talking about that, right? And so these comments to date, or comments, I'm sorry, the responses to the questions speak to that, right? They speak to people recognizing that, hey, I'm not in this by myself, and it's going to require participation from my partner, my significant other, whoever I'm in relationship, whoever you're in relationship with. It's going to require their participation as well. So that's important to know. But there's also a self-awareness component. Again, we talked about the components of EQ. So another question that was asked, what adjustments do you make in real time when you recognize you have been triggered? Someone said, I stay calm and keep listening because I understand that getting upset distracts from the connection. Thoughtful, self-aware. A response to that was, I have to share information because I can't expect him to know everything I'm thinking or feeling. However, if I come across as calm and loving and as clear, let me get this right. However, it has to come across calm and loving and as a clear attempt to understand each other better. Yes, please hear me, folks. This requires participation. Please don't think you're crazy or something is off if your person isn't receptive to your efforts to heal or repair or to manage or resolve conflict in your relationship. It buys us nothing to get frustrated and give up, especially if you've put time into someone, invested time into someone who you believed was valuable and worthy of that investment of your time, effort, and energy. So why would you not do the work and have no regrets after having done all that you can do, exhausting all possibilities before walking away? Just something to think about. Something to think about. So, like I said, we're looking at a topic around one of the components of emotional intelligence, relationship management. What do I do when my relationship is in trouble? I would offer a few more questions for your consideration, in addition to the ones I've shared, that you just may want to ask yourself. Do you hold on to past experiences that keep you from being present in the moment? In your current or past relationships? When you reflect on past relationships or current relationships, right? Do you hold on to past hurts, past traumas, and pass that on and project it on to the person that you're currently in relationship with that had nothing to do with those past hurts and traumas necessarily? Now, if they did, that's a different conversation. But what I'm saying to you, what I'm saying is understand that the awareness comes with knowing that that may be what's going on. That there are some things that are holding you back because you may be harboring some anger, some frustration, some disappointment, some hurt, and that's okay. But just make the person aware that that's what's going on. You may not be ready to talk yet. You're trying to work through it. They may want to see, they may ask you, how can I help? How can I assist? You're looking for someone, I hope that you're in relationship with someone or considering someone who is concerned about you, your mental and emotional and physical well-being. Yeah. Oh yeah, be sure to say hello when you get here. Yeah, because I don't know if you're here or not, but I hope you are. Just say hello and I'll be sure to respond. Yeah. Something else to consider. Do you recognize if you've been triggered? And when you do recognize it, or if you do recognize, what are you noticing about yourself? Are you shutting down? Is your body language changing? Has your tone and pitch changed because you heard something that didn't hit your ear just so? Did someone do something that triggered you? Did an action happen? Did something occur? Did you see something? However it happens, what are you noticing about yourself? It serves you to know that. And it could serve your relationship because it makes your partner also aware. What have you learned about yourself when it comes to managing your relationships? I think we talked about this before, but there's situations, obviously in a relationship, you manage it, right? You don't handle it. There's things that have to be handled and there are things that have to be managed in relationship. But when we're talking about the body of work that is your relationship, that's a management exercise. You know why? Because there is hey, Cap, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Good to see you, sir. So yeah, when you think about it, right, there are things that happen that we don't always recognize right away that because we got triggered, right? And so again, something changes with this, and so we want to let our person know that, hey, there's something going on, because they may have noticed it and they may have taken a position where I'm not going to say anything. They may have noticed it. They may have noticed a difference in you, but don't just consider not acting like it didn't happen or pretending it didn't happen. Okay. And again, back to managing relationships. I apologize. I lost my thought because I looked at a different note. But again, managing relationships, right? The body of work that is your relationship. Some things in relationships have to be handled and you got to figure out what they are. And if you need help with that, that's a different conversation, but you may need help with that. Like I said at the top of this, there are people, I believe, who desire quality connections and relationships, but don't always know how to have them, don't know how to get there because of our past hurts, disappointments, and traumas. And so we have these default or de facto steps that we take because that's what we've always done, but what we've always done may not work. It may not be the best course of action. So we have to learn, and especially if it's not yielding the results we want, right? So then the idea becomes, what can I do differently to get a different result? Well, if I don't know how to do that, I may need assistance. That's where coaching comes in. Understand, this is not just to say, oh, that sounds good, but I'm good. Well, are you? Well, here's what I know. It requires courage to face yourself. And so many people choose not to because it's easier to pretend, more concerned about what people think, more concerned about what the perceptions are of others versus the life that you have to live, that the only one that you can account for. So if you're someone who struggles, that's fine. Be honest with you. If you need some assistance, seek it out. Just saying. When you have been triggered, what emotions come up for you? anger, frustration, PTSD. you know, we all have scars, emotional scars, and we handle those differently. We respond to those things differently, and so we want. It's again, it's an awareness thing. Only you know what you're feeling, but then you have to kind of think through. Okay, this feeling came up, but where did it come from? What is it about? What caused it? Have I even thought enough about it to go back in my mind to ask who may have caused this? What experience, I should say, caused me to have this feeling and emotion such that when now in my life, in my relationships, and I'm interacting with people and my person specifically, or with people in general, does this emotion come up? And if so, what am I doing about it? Am I aware of it? Am I managing it? Am I recognizing it's a saboteur and it's only there to defeat me? We have a responsibility. Again, we're talking about EQ. Okay. This is all predicated and based around emotional intelligence and developing your emotional muscles. Okay. Your emotional intelligence muscles. So I'd like to invite you to consider 7 things when it comes to relationship management that could serve you and support you in your relationships. Number 1, be mindful of your facial expressions and body language. Your facial expressions and your body language can be perceived as inviting or defensive, right? Body language is real. Think about it. When you've been talking, if you've ever had a conversation with someone and say you said something to them that they didn't particularly care for, or something was said to you that you didn't care for, did you notice you may have folded your arms? Did you notice, or did you consider, or ever thought about, or better yet, when you're looking out, because obviously you can't see yourself, right? But if you're looking at someone who you've noticed where their body language has changed, did you notice a grimace where there was once a smile, right? It's paying attention to yourself and the persons you're interacting with. Number 2, see conflicts as opportunities to be better. Someone said it in the comments. It's not about winning a battle. It's not losing a battle. It's about discussing the challenges, seeking to deconflict them as best you can. And it may just be agree to disagree, but do so respectfully. Again, I believe people want to do it, just don't know how. Because you got to ask yourself, if you're in a relationship with someone and you're constantly frustrated, or they're constantly frustrated with you, how about looking at where we went wrong? What changed? Because that wasn't always the case. And so if we continue to be frustrated in relationships or in a relationship, how did that happen versus just continually being frustrated and dealing with the same types of things, or getting frustrated and saying I'm out? Never mind that it may not have started it may have started great. It may have been fun. But then when real life happened and the novelty wore off and you have this person and they have you, how are you interacting? Are you discussing things? Are you communicating? Are you paying attention? Are you listening to what's being said to you? Is what you're saying being heard? Because sometimes we can easily think because we say something, the person heard it, that was enough. Not necessarily. If they haven't demonstrated that they comprehended your statement or your request or what have you, please don't take for granted or assume that occurred. And I think sometimes we do that, and then months later we're frustrated. It's like, I told you this before. Talking at someone is not talking with or to someone. Because you said something doesn't mean it landed. Just because they said something to you, they probably are repeating themselves too. Why? Because we're human. Just a thought. Seek to resolve conflict in healthy and constructive ways that can strengthen the trust between you and your person. When conflict isn't perceived as threatening or punishing, it encourages freedom to share, creativity, and safety in relationships. Who doesn't want that? If I feel I can't trust you with my heart, if I feel I can't trust you to have a mature conversation, an emotionally present and mature conversation, because I feel like I'm going to be met with resistance and, oh, here we go again, or something like that, where the attention off of the issue may be deflected, or you may attempt to gaslight me or tell me I'm crazy or I'm tripping, or if I do that to you, right? That is contrary to resolving conflict in healthy and constructive ways. As I said, I believe we want it. We just don't know how to get there. And let me say this to you. If you're in an existing relationship where you feel like, oh my God, it's too late. It's a bridge too far. Not necessarily. If you and your person are both willing to make the effort and put in the work, it's a necessary endeavor. It's a worthwhile endeavor. That's the real question. Less about the work. The work is kind of secondary, maybe tertiary. I think you first have to identify if I want to do this, if they want to do this, if we want to do this, and if so, are we willing to put the work in? Just saying. Number 3. Remember to ask questions of your person. Try not to attack, accuse, or assume your person intended to offend you or upset you. Because again, if that's in play, you have a different problem. Because now the person, be it they realize it or not, be it you doing this or not, that is a sign of disrespect of the person and the relationship. If your knee-jerk response is you meant to do this, or you accuse someone of doing something, or you attack them because you believed or perceived something, and you didn't ask a question, automatically they're going to become defensive. Wouldn't you? We're talking about awareness, folks. Relationship management. Yeah. Strengthening those EQ muscles. Number 4. Don't let challenges in your relationships cause you to live beneath your character. This also fits self-awareness, right? Knowing that, we can sometimes be frustrated. We're in relationship. I'm mad. So I'm going to go do something that's disrespectful and dishonors the relationship. That is what I mean by living beneath your character. You gave someone your word. Your word should be good. And if you're not willing to hold your word, if you're not willing to keep your word, then remove yourself. It's okay that you change your mind. You say, I don't want to do this. If that's where you are, that's fine. But the person that you're in relationship with deserves better than they'll be all right. They did it to me. Okay, so they did it to you if that's what happened. So it's okay for you to do it to them? I think Michelle Obama said, when they go low, we go high. That's an example of going high. Just because something is done to you doesn't mean you need to retaliate or reciprocate in kind. It doesn't. Someone made a choice. Yes, it impacted you. Yes, it affected you, but it doesn't mean because someone did something to you, you need to go do something, say, I'm going to get you back. A younger person, sure, because you may not have the aptitude, the faculties. I believe 23, 24 is when your brain is fully developed, when you can process consequence. I would submit to you it's probably 25 because that's when insurance rates drop. It's connected. Okay. And when you can process consequence, especially at this station in life, if you're part of the older, the more seasoned, sip and chill family, you probably can process consequence and understand that because someone did something to you doesn't mean you need to retaliate and respond in kind. You can make a choice. They made a choice. You can make a choice to remove yourself. And if you choose to stay, then work it out. This is not I'm going to go because you did. What I'm saying is be aware of yourself, be aware of the experiences that you're having, and mostly be aware of how you respond to them and what emotions come up for you when they do. And decide if this is a relationship that's worthy of continuing to manage, or do I need to remove myself from it? Number 5. How are we doing? I'm sorry. Let me not continue. Any questions, thoughts, comments? Please type them regardless of your lounge view. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, please share your thoughts. That's tasty. Yeah. Oh, my YouTube family. Yeah, I'm a Malbec guy. This red, yes, Chardonnay in the spring and summer when it's really warm. Chardonnays are cool, buttery Chardonnays, right? But Malbec is my drug of choice in the fall and winter, and because it's cool, yeah, Malbec made sense today. My goodness, did it. Any questions, thoughts, comments? Let's continue. Be clear on your values. Seek to understand your person's values. And notice if your interest is matched or exceeded. This will aid in identifying standards for the relationship, which facilitates establishing healthy boundaries. In a previous point, we talked about how trust can encourage safety and sharing and freedom in doing so. Creativity. How do we be better? How do we be better? How do we go be great? Are our values aligned? What are our values? Do we even know? Or are we just saying, oh, I value this, I value that? But do you know? Do you know, not only do you know your values, do you know why they are your values are your values? Understand, we're talking about a thoughtful and intentional, purposeful approach to your relationships geared around strengthening your emotional intelligence muscle. Yeah. And hopefully you're paired and partnered with someone who wants and desires the same. For those of you who are in existing relationships and you're wondering, can we get better? Can we be stronger? Can we salvage this? Is this worth saving? Why not make the effort? If you still love your person and you still value the relationship, why would you not make the effort? Didn't say you can do it alone, but you can certainly ask a question. Is this something you're open to? Do you think we're worth it? If they may be asking you, do you think you're worth it? Do you think the relationship is worth it? Do you think the person who's hurt you, upset you, disappointed you, all the things, all the hurts, all the things that have been present in that relationship, have you grown weary? You're like, I don't know. Hey, guess what? If you have, it's okay. It's okay, because it happens. It's totally fine and perfectly understandable to question, why am I doing this? Do I even want to do this? I think it's a worthwhile exercise to ask yourself. And I also think it's a worthwhile endeavor to approach and pursue healing, strengthening and sustaining the relationship. I told you I work with couples. I work with couples as individuals because I coach my clients and not their story. But I definitely want to make sure they're on the same page if they've chosen to work together to strengthen and sustain their relationships. I don't just coach single people. I don't just coach divorced people. I coach people who are interested in and desire quality connections and relationships that honor and support their core values. But you first got to know what they are. Yeah. Attempt to build your relationships with agreements and not repeated conversations that conclude in frustration and feelings of not being heard. Something that's important in relationships is to not just have conversations, but attempt or make the effort to undergird your conversations with agreements. Some of you have heard me talk about designing relationships. That's a part of design, right? Where you design a foundation that supports the stability and strength of your relationship so that you mitigate continually having conversations and being repeating yourself, and the person you're in a relationship repeating themselves, and both of you are frustrated. And I would submit to you that the reason you're likely frustrated is because you don't have an agreement. What does an agreement buy you? Accountability. Absent of it, you will continue to have conversations and likely continue to be frustrated, especially if you do not feel you're being heard. Conversations that are not undergirded in agreement lead to frustration. Understand, in order to get to agreement, you're likely going to have to negotiate, because you both may not want the same thing the same way, and that's okay, right? But if you believe your person is worth it, the relationship is worth it, and they believe the same about and for you, with you, then it's a worthwhile exercise and endeavor to negotiate, to get to agreement, to not continually have conversations, to not have a foundation. Now we're frustrated and wondering why we're doing this. I'm tired of this. This is old. Relationship management, folks. Relationship management. I continually say it. It's not that we don't want it. I just don't think we know how. For a myriad of reasons. The hurts run too deep. The disappointments are so real. You don't believe it can be differently than it's ever been. It could ever be different. So what do? You get I don't know if it's worth it. It's unfortunate. It's absolutely unfortunate. I hope you don't default to that. I really do. What questions do you have? Comments or thoughts? Because we're about to wrap it up, and I'll take a sip while you do. Hope you guys had a great week, by the way. I do. Hope you have an even better weekend, quite frankly. Welcome to the weekend. Whatever you choose to do, please do so safely. I know that things are opening up in different parts of the world and country, and people are getting out. Many of us have been vaccinated, and more open and receptive to doing things, but still continue to be safe. Exercise caution. We still want to be mindful of our exposures and things. Okay. And lastly, before we bounce, seek out your favorite relationship coach. That would be me. If you struggle with relationship management, or you like to strengthen your relationship management skills, schedule your no obligation chemistry session at bit.ly Coach Reg session. In fact, I'm going to share that with you so you can see it, and you don't even have to, boom. There it is right there. You go to that link and you can schedule some time. Take about 15 minutes. We're not going to be long. Do you know why? Because you have an intake form. You're going to answer some questions. And when I get that, you're going to receive an email from me and a calendar invite to have a conversation around the things that you'll want to work on. Okay. So yeah, if relationship management matters to you, consider that. The link is there. Yeah. So listen, hope this made some sense. There were not, I don't see any questions or comments or thoughts. Of course, I hope it helps you, hope it serves you. If you need some assistance or would like it, you know how to reach us. I've shared the links with you, and you can totally rewind if you're on YouTube, or replay in Facebook if you want to learn how to connect with us. But again, I wish you a fantastic weekend. Please stay safe. We'll be back next week because I have another one for you that I think you're going to love. And, I'll even give you the topic. I'll even give you the topic early. It is. So what is good communication? So many times we talk about, we could have communicated better. We're going to look at that. We're going to talk about that. Okay. So listen, have a great weekend. Please stay safe. I'll see you next Friday in the lounge, be you in the Facebook lounge or a YouTube lounge. Regardless, I look forward to seeing you. Stay safe. It's your guy, Coach Reg, and I love. Take good care. Bye.